Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and I want to talk about Alex Garland's absolutely brilliant show, the March 2020 Devs. And this show is like a Dungeons and Dragons story in so many ways. One of it is Dungeons and Dragons. We really, we just finished 50 years of Dungeons and Dragons. And what astounds me is we finished 50 years of Dungeons and Dragons, but we still really have no idea what Dungeons and Dragons is after 50 years. We really have not. We have basically, it's like a Corvette, right? Like, we've been driving this thing in first gear for 50 years. We have never opened it up. We have never done anything significant with it. And I think the second 50 years is going to be doing incredible things with Dungeons and Dragons. And so the show, Alex Garland's Devs, is about a tech group that builds a prediction engine, right? And what they're doing is they're modeling. They're building models, right? They're saying, okay, we are going to predict what happens in the future by running a simulation. And we're going to say, okay, here's each person involved in this situation. Here's all the equipment. Here's the locations involved. Here's the characters, the people who are involved. Here's their relationships. Here's the artifacts. Here's the important objects, right? Here's the entities, right? The non-protagonists, the non-main characters. And they're just running simulation after simulation after simulation with data, with computers, right? And this is being done all over right now. There are many companies that do data modeling. They create models using data. Now, what's interesting is the models are incredibly limited, right? They really can't do garbage in, garbage out, right? And a lot of people are like laugh at what AI creates, right? Like, you can see lots of examples of this on YouTube, right? But I've been thinking a lot about Dungeons and Dragons and considering each session of Dungeons and Dragons as low code, right? Essentially code that is being written between the dungeon master, between the red dragon master, the green dragon master, the white dragon master, the blue dragon master, and the black dragon master. 6 cores, right? Quad core. I don't know the word for 6. Sorry. We're 6 cores, right? 6 inputs to the narrative, right? But where these data modeling done with computers is extremely difficult and limited, right? But when you're running low code with the most powerful processing units in the world, which is the brain of a charismatic, confident, intelligent person, and that's the only people who play Dungeons and Dragons, and certainly the only people who play Dungeons and Dragons that listen to this channel. There's no casuals here, right? Like, trust and believe, there are no casuals on Scott Garabay's channel, right? There's no casuals listening to the long form videos of Scott Garibay. I can guarantee you that, right? Like, yeah, that's for sure. Right? So when you're running this code, right, with Dungeons and Dragons, we are modeling. Right? Now, the reality is this has been extremely limited because for the first 50 years, all we thought that we could do was tell, medieval combat stories. Now, in the second 50 years, are we going to even bother with a medieval combat story? What's the point of that, right? We can go into IRL situational modeling. We can start to do this, right? And on the Lego side, they've already started this. They're running social experiments with Legos. It's astounding. Like, they're way past us. By the way, if you're not aware, the D&D community and the Lego community are now fused. They're one community. We are together. Lego Dungeons and Dragons is real, right? The separation between the Lego community and the Dungeons and Dragons community is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. We're one community, right? But the Lego community is light years past us on everything. On organization, on valuation, on narrative. Like, we have a lot of catch up to do. I'm astounded. I did not expect this, right? But we're writing this low code with these cores. The cores are the 5 Dragon Masters and the Dungeon Master. They have the best processors in the world. But we're not data modeling. We're doing experiential modeling. We are modeling with our experience, our IRL experience, our fiction, our experience from fictional worlds that we've been in. At this point, 50 years in, you can get a dungeon master who's run 100 campaigns, right? Actually, I'm sorry, that's too high. 50 campaigns. 50 campaigns. That's real. You can get a dragon master that has 100 lives, 100 real characters under their belt. They have their IRL experience. They have their experience from every realm they've run in Dungeons & Dragons. And then they've had their tangential experience, the experience of the narrative that's happened beyond the table. That's a much bigger subject. I don't have time to get into it here. But the experiential, the experience that is at these tables is phenomenal. And it's much more curated than these garbage data lakes that are being used to do data modeling. And these limitations are very, very real, right? Like if AI was really powerful, right? It's not. People think it is. It's not. We're not at the moon. You know when I'll think AI is powerful? When I can Uber to the moon. Until then, you can shut it, right? Like AI is still incredibly limited. But you know what? The 6-core low-code computer of a dungeon master and 5 dragon masters, that is not even remotely limited. That is incredibly powerful, right? That's far more powerful than the best quad-core machine you can find. You could set up a data farm, and it doesn't have the processing power of 1 engaged dungeon master and 5 dragon masters. That's my opinion. That's my humble opinion. Every word you just heard is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion. Get in the comments below and send your traffic. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.